Hi everyone, I'm Spurti Ravi from Lean in Bangalore board, and today with me for our Superwoman series we have Ritika Kinger. I'm so excited to interview her today. I'm a huge fan of any woman who can survive in food service and do a fantastic job at it. So welcome Ritika.
Thank you Spurti for this lovely introduction. Thank you Lean for having me. Thank you Deepika Henna for interviewing me today. Yeah.
So I'll just do a quick bio about Ritika. So Ritika is currently the manager at Truffles Indiranagar, which is Bangalore's favorite destination for shakes and all things sweet. In her role as a manager, Ritika manages a staff of 80. Like, hats off to you, Ritika. She's responsible for all aspects of running the outlet, including operations, quality control, staff performance and training, hiring, amongst others. An entrepreneur for most of her working life, she has started out with her own event management company in Bangalore nearly half a decade ago. So let's get started with some of the questions we have for Ritika today. First off, Ritika, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also how you got in here?
Well, I really started really young. While I was in my first year of college is when I went out to do an internship with this company which was into soft skill training. And that time soft skill training was like, wow, I was set out to be a trainer. I was like, I can impact people's lives. And I was really excited about it. While I was there, I did a lot of NLP, that is Neuro Linguistic Programming. I did a lot of courses, I did a lot of certifications, and then I suddenly realized, oh wow, I'm like training people double my age, triple my age. That time I was probably 17, 16 or probably 18, I think, yeah. So I was, talking to people who were like at CEO level.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting, really challenging, and I did that for 3 years. Soon I realized, but I had to also pay a loan that was on my education, which I needed income for. And soft skill training is something, it pays you, but you need to keep learning, you need to keep growing. And it takes a while.
Got it.
So then that's when I took a back seat from that, because I then had to focus on my education loan. So there were 4 of us in that company, and we were really good friends. So we decided to start up something of our own then. So from the little investments that we could at that point, a few of my partners who were friends then got investment from their families. We started off from a small garage, which was free of cost at that point, because it was
classic startup story from the garage.
Yeah. So we used to work on the floor, typically, and got those small laptops from our houses, because that's all we had at that point, So that's where we started. Soon we realized it was 7 years. And it was 7 years.
Did you move out of the garage?
Yes, we did. We got a huge space on Richmond Road. A 2-floor office.
That's amazing. That's an amazing transition from starting out in a garage and being in central Bangalore and having 2 floors. I think it really speaks to the growth of the company.
So it did well. It really did well. But then...
And what did you all do as part of this company, Ritika?
So we ran 4 divisions. We were into training, one of the things that we carried from the previous internship. We were into events, we were into travel, and we were into corporate gifting. So everybody got their expertise. So we got different expertise on the table. And there I used to head sales. So I was completely in charge of sales, client servicing, on the ground events, taking care of the events. I was totally in charge of basically getting the money in. So that was my biggest strength there.
And I think that's a great strength to have for any role or any work you do, right? Like, money is so important and critical to growth of any company. So that's a great skill to have. So I'm going to deviate a little bit from these questions, because that's a really interesting story. How was it for you as a young 17 or maybe 20-year-old girl to actually train people who are triple your age? Like, what were you going through? How did you feel about it?
It was really challenging, honestly, because for people to actually listen to you because you're so young.
Exactly.
You know, they have this whole barrier, age barrier. Who is she? Why is she here? What does she know? What our challenges are. So we had to first of all understand the entire company and understand what they're doing, why they're doing, and then do our trainings based on that. Before that, we had to go through our own breakthroughs in our head. So if we are carrying any baggages, we had to break those baggages.
True.
Because otherwise you're not able to deliver perfectly. So most of our days and hours used to be on training ourselves. So we used to keep doing mocks with each others. We used to have like these competition within, you know, the company. So with who's the best trainer, and I remember winning one award there when I won the best leader award.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a huge gathering then. That was my first award I had won. Yeah.
I'm sure that's a special memory.
It was. Yeah, rather it is. So it was very challenging, but it was really good. I think it gave me a big boost. A big boost in terms of my confidence, in terms of what I can do. That time I realized sky is just the limit. You just go all out and you can achieve what you want to achieve.
So how did you get over this challenge? Like clearly you had like quite a few challenges there. Like what was the mindset that or approach you used to get over those challenges?
See, I was always a go-getter. So in my head, I was like, I have to do this. I don't know why I was such a go-getter. Maybe because of the from the entire background that I came from. It was not easy at all. From starting from family to everything was not easy. So I knew I had to make my own way. I have to path my own way. So whatever it took at that point, I had to overcome my mind. So that neuro-linguistic programming certification that we did, it was a 4-day course. It was 20,000 rupees. I still remember. And to fund that 20,000, I had to
that day, 20,000 is quite a bit.
I remember borrowing money from my friends then, and I'll pay you back, please, but I need the money. So I somehow collected 20,000, and then I did that course. And that course really helped me. Really helped me reflect, really helped me overcome. So yeah, that course was the thing I think was the breakthrough for me.
I think that's a great tip. Sometimes for a lot of things we find it expensive or we don't have the time for it. But I think you have to really stick with your gut, and when you know that it's like a long-term investment and it's going to help you in so many roles when you move forward, then it's worth putting that time and like what you did, like even try and get money to actually invest in it at that point of time. So today, I mean, clearly you've reaped a lot of benefits from doing what from what you learned there. So I'm always very excited when I meet any woman from the food service world, right? Because I have a decent idea about what it's like, and it's not easy. I think it's not easy for anyone, male or female, but especially for a woman to survive that and thrive in that environment. But also I think a lot of our audience is probably new to the restaurant world, the hospitality world, and I think it would be great if you can give us a sneak peek into what it's like working in the restaurant space, and also maybe what your typical work day is like there.
Honestly, to work in the restaurant space, you have to be passionate. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. You have to like it 100%, no excuses whatsoever, because it's a really challenging job. More so ever because people there, when I joined Truffles, I remember it was 2.5 years ago. That time they were like, oh, who's this girl? Like, what is she going to do here? What does she know? We've been in the company for so long. What will she get on the table? They were a little hesitant to open up to talk. And especially with the place that I went in, the ratio was 1 girl to 99.
That's basically a non-existent ratio. Like you were the one girl, and everyone else was male.
The director of the company being a lady, so there are, and the starting one, the employee that they hired was a lady. So there were like women welcomed in the company. They were like very, very open to women, having women on board. But as at a managerial level, it was me only. So it was really difficult. But then I was at it. like getting them to open up, getting them to listen, getting them to look up to you. It was challenging in the initial phase. I was really lost, but then eventually things fell into place. So it's basically like a chain. If there's one link is missing in a day, the day doesn't go right. So you have to make sure your staff is pepped up for the day. You have to make sure everything's in place. You have to make sure the stocks have arrived. You have to make sure the place is clean. So at the end, we want customers to leave the place happy. That's the ultimate thing. So whatever it takes for the customer to go happy. So. And then there are back-end issues like suddenly the generator going off, the generator not coming on. So all of that
these are not excuses you can give the customer, unfortunately.
Right? So there's I don't know is not an answer at all. You just find a way, figure yourself out, do what it takes, but the show has to go on. Bad day, good day, there's no bad day.
Right.
So it's only good days. So that is.
So what do you spend your time on, like on a day-to-day basis? Like if you when you go in the morning, what do you start doing? What's your day like? On average, I know in the restaurant space, each day is a new day. Never compare 2 days. But if you just have to give us an idea about it, what would you say it looks like?
Probably, so you walk in the mid-afternoon, so you just see, at that point it's peak hour. So at that point you're just focusing on the customers. You're there out there for customers, making sure they're happy, making sure there are no problems.
And you also interact with the customers every day.
Every day. So making sure they're fine, they've ordered and they've got what they've ordered, and all of that. So typically in a peak hour, that's the role. When it's not peak hours, then you're doing the other things. You're making sure the entire place is clean. So cleanliness is something Truffles is really emphasizes on.
That's so great to hear from anyone in the restaurant space, right? I think one of our biggest worries as consumers is the smallest of things can turn you off.
Correct.
So it's great to know that there's so much emphasis on that.
Cleanliness is one of the biggest thing that we look into. So regularly there are checks whether everything is clean, every spot is clean, the store is clean. So that's where the time goes. Then there is accounts that you have to do, salaries you have to make sure everyone's on the salary dates, attendance. Somebody's sick, so you're taking care of them, getting them to go to the hospital, one of the staff. So that's typically it. But
so you're like an entrepreneur and like a family member.
It's almost like that. Because one person ill, the entire chain can get affected.
Right.
Because everybody plays an important role. So you can't have one person just ill. If that person is ill, then you have to find a backup so that the entire process goes on. You can't have a sorry face in front of the customer whatsoever. So when it's not peak hour, I'm doing these things, making sure everything is right. So usually that's my day. Again, when the peak hour starts, you're with the customers, talking.
And I've been to the Truffles at Indiranagar, and I mean, I don't know how you all manage it. It is jam-packed all the time, and especially even when it comes to all the delivery orders that you'll have to do. It's amazing that you'll have a very nice set of operations going on, but it is always full. So kudos to you all for doing the whole job.
I know it's really mad. But it's mad in a good way. So
I guess you thrive on that energy.
So when you're having a bad day, because everyone's allowed to have bad days, right? So when you're having a bad day and you're like, oh God, I can't do this, but suddenly the energy in the entire atmosphere gets you going. Like, oh, that bad day just disappeared in minutes. So it's really good. So sometimes when you don't feel like going to work, you drag yourself to work, but when you're there, you forget you're having a bad day. So.
I wish corporate work was also like that all the time. Unfortunately, I don't think it comes that close. But I think a lot of what you said, based on my previous corporate experience, what I can take away is there's so much work and effort that goes into managing teams, managing people, and it's just not just inspiring them to do the work, but taking care of them like a family member, right? And I think a lot of times when we think of corporate organizations, that thought process is not there, but that's actually what probably drives them to do better and to do more for you. Yeah, so if you have to think about some of the challenges you've had so far, like what would you say are like your top three challenges at Truffles and working in this restaurant space?
There have been many, but the top three would be language.
True,
Yeah. So they all mostly comfortable with Hindi. And while I was growing up, probably at home we didn't talk our mother tongue, neither did we talk Hindi. We spoke English most of our times. But in the events field, I did learn how to talk Hindi, learn how to talk Kannada, because that's the people we were working with were the vendors, all of that knew these languages and were comfortable with these languages. But somehow I used to like, okay, I can get my way through. But when I joined Truffles, the major language is Hindi. So for you to be heard, first you need to talk properly. Like,
so your Hindi's gotten very good now.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start like interning at Truffles as well.
So for them to feel comfortable to talk to you, you should talk to them in their language. Anybody, you know, when we want to be spoken to, anybody would want to be spoken to the language we understand and we are comfortable with. Yeah. So that was a major challenge. Like, I used to it sounds silly, but I used to go home and talk to my husband in Hindi or talk to my mother-in-law in Hindi and like I'm practicing.
I mean, I have to pause. It's amazing the amount of work you do behind the scenes, which I'm guessing not with a lot of time, to like make yourself better at work. And I think that's such a great takeaway for all of us, because sometimes we think of work as work, right? Like 9 to 5. But like you're constantly working on skills that will help you be better at work, which is just like great.
So language was one of the things initially. The other thing is getting familiar with technicalities. I didn't do engineering. I came from a business management background. So when I mean technicalities is the generator is on some mode. It has to be on some mode. It has to be power set backup. There are various things, and for me it was new. I was like, what is happening? Like,
I don't even think engineers know that. So you feel better about yourself. Like, we go through 4 years of engineering school and we have no idea about these things.
So when does it have to come on? When does it have to go off? If it's not coming on automatically, then you have to do it manually. As small as that. I'm just giving you generators an example. But all these things were new. I knew it in the events field, but that time I used to just get a big generator and I knew you had to connect it, and then I knew that part. But here it's like a house, but in a bigger format. You know what I mean? But in your house, 2 minutes power, now that's okay. But here you have 80 people sitting in, and suddenly the AC is gone, and then you see people like, what's happening? So you can't let that happen. So as small as a generator or an equipment in the kitchen, it took time for me to learn that, you know, like understand why is it used, so what is it used. Everything had a reason. For me to get into the crux of it was a little bit challenging because I was new to it. But I didn't mind learning it, so it was quick that way.
Nice. And what do you think is some of the most rewarding aspects about working in this, working there?
Well, honestly, rewarding, there are lots, but the biggest being having my freedom, having my freedom to do what I want to do the way I want to do it, meeting standards. The given standards are already laid down. You know, they have told us it has to be like this, but you do it how you want to do it.
Got it.
And from the beginning, from the start of my career, I've always wanted or have been in a place where I got utmost freedom. So when I ran my own company and then I decided to come out of it, it was very challenging for me to take such a big step, because I was very clueless, where am I going to go next? If I'm going to go, will I fit in there? Will I like it? Because I'm someone who if I don't like it, I can't work. That's just like full stop.
I think in principle all of us want to be that way, but unfortunately we probably can't. So it's amazing that you could live up to that principle.
Because I remember going for one job in between events and before I took up Truffles, and it was a nightmare. I mean, my sister-in-law Deepika knows about it. I came back home crying because I was in such a bad state. I don't know, this is not my thing. I'm not doing a job because I have to do a job. Yes, money is important. It is important to all of us. And it was very important for me because I had come from such a background. But I was like, I can't do this. I can't give up my principles. I can't, let myself shatter for this.
Yeah.
And it was like no offense to anything, but it was not for me. I couldn't
that was probably a great learning experience for you to know that if you try and do something you don't like, so we all need to have some of these like wake up experiences to realize what our principle is.
There was a very, very big wake up. Like my sister-in-law still makes fun of me, and she like, remember how you were when you came back? I'm like, you can't make fun of me,
but today you're flying because of that.
So the whole thing that I have here is my freedom. And
it's so funny you say that. When I think about anyone working in the restaurant, food and hospitality space, I don't think freedom. Because it's such a dynamic, fast-paced, sort of work environment that I feel like you're always tied down. So it's very interesting that you brought that up.
So I can give it up to my directors for that. They have given the managers a free hand. So they trust, of course. So they trust your capabilities, your intentions. They trust everything, and they've given you a free hand. Do what you like, as long as it's in the given standards, which is it's fair enough. So
I think so as well. So, I mean, I know it's a very demanding job. What are your hours like on the job right now?
So it's there are really no hours, but as per say to clock, you have to clock 9 to 10 hours.
Okay.
But you have to be available on the phone anytime, be it late at night, be it early in the morning. You have to be available because anything can happen, and you get a call. So there are people there in charge. When I'm not there, there is somebody second in charge.
Okay.
So the first call that the orders are given in such a way that the first call has to go out to me. You have to be available 24/7. So there's really no thing, but you're clocking 9 to 10 hours.
So how do you balance like your family life and like going out with friends and socializing? Well, you see people socializing all the time in your restaurant, right?
So from my family, before I was married, I grew up with my grandmother.
Okay.
So I have to like really thank her for letting me and allowing me to do what I wanted, because I was a crazy kid. I was really bizarre.
Today.
I was really bizarre. I didn't like give her an easy time at school. I still remember. And after that, not like I was a very academically, I was not very good. Like I would get a first class, but I was not very like, oh, I have to get an 80, 90, and neither did I have that pressure from home, honestly.
Got it.
So I was very like bizarre. Suddenly I want to do this, I want to do that, I also want to do this.
Clearly you were a go-getter from like day one.
So I have to really thank her for the generation age, and the gap between both of us is about 50 years. For still understanding what I wanted, what I felt, and giving me my space. I really and supporting me, because events had a very odd hour.
True.
It was 24 hours. You go home once in 2 days, or you go home 2 hours. And for her, oh, I'm a girl. How are you staying late at night? So how are you staying late at night? This, that. She had her own concerns, but I on the way dealt with it. She was very uncomfortable with it in the beginning because of these late hours. But eventually she realized this is my life. And
I think that's a great, it would be great for people to understand, like, how do you bring your family on board so they start supporting you? Because without family support, you really can't like thrive at work.
Correct. Honestly,
so how did you do that with your grandma?
I used to make her understand that, see, this is my work, this is my company, I've built it. I have people working for me. So she used to always say, you have the team, why don't you let them do it? Why do you have to go everywhere? Why do you have to stay out late night? Which girl does it? These things, typical, Indian family.
Fair questions also.
And honestly, I used to like get really angry at that point. I was like, why are you not understanding? As though I'm going anywhere else, I'm working. And usually people at my age are out, partying and, doing different things. Not like I didn't do that. I, of course, did that. I very well did a lot of it.
That's good. You had a well-rounded.
But while I was at work, I just needed her to understand. So slowly with time, she understood that this is her life, this is her company.
So I guess part of it is also giving your family member that trust and being patient with them as you're trying to bring them on board. Because I think we've all been in situations where, you know, family is the best of intentions for us, right? But we just feel like, you know, they're interfering with us or intruding on our growth and progress. But to work with it patiently, bring them on board, help them understand is, I guess, what helped you, you know, tide over that situation.
Of course. And then once I got married, it was my mother-in-law, the entire support system she gave me. It might sound as cliched as it sounds, that she doesn't consider me as a daughter-in-law. So she gave me that freedom. She like, you want to work, you want to do this, whatever you want, whatever you're happy with. And I really, really thank her, like very, very regularly. I like thank you for supporting, because without a support system, it is very difficult. So I know how difficult it could be, because I have friends who also, you know, face these. So I hear these things out, and I'm so grateful today that there is a support system, that she is supporting. She plays a very big important role in my life today.
And it's great. It's very against the common Indian notion, right? Where the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law are not really getting together. But you guys have this like fantastic relationship and that mutual understanding.
So I think that played and plays a very, very important role in my life, in my career so far. And in terms with friends, they know my weekly off now, so they make sure they plan outings during that time.
That's great, understanding friends.
But also they also work on the so we have weird weekly offs. They are off on weekends, I'm working on weekends. So it really doesn't match. So sometimes they get pissed off, but it's justified. But usually I catch up with them post, you know, work at 10 p.m, post 10 p.m. So they know I can come out early.
Do you ever feel like you don't get enough time with family or friends? Or you think you've like figured out a good balance?
Sometimes I feel like, oh God, but I used to feel that. But now is the time I'm off, I know what I want to do. So I've planned my off. So whatever little time we get, we spend as family. You know, during the day I go out with my grandmother, I go out with my mother-in-law. So I know one week I'm doing mother-in-law, one week I'm doing grandmother. So making sure I get both, you know, both of everything. So, and with friends, of course, you meet them at night. So it's quite sorted at this point. Yes, it is in the initial phase, but my friends have been used to it because I was in the events field. There I used to hardly meet them because I was working such odd hours. And I was so tired. If those 2 hours I want to sleep, I don't want to go out. So I meet them more now than I used to 7 years.
So it's a lot more structured now than the events job used to be. So like there are lots of women today, I think, who either want to start restaurants. Slowly I see more and more women in the food and hospitality area. A lot of people have catering businesses and, you know, home baking businesses. And since you're in that space right now, do you have any like tips or any takeaways for them that they could implement?
Honestly, if you're passionate, only do it.
That's fair, and you've lived by that principle as well.
Especially with food, you need to be passionate about food. You need to like food. You need to know food.
Do you ever get tired of it? Where you're like, I don't want to see food for the next 2 days.
Sometimes. When I'm like, or maybe on a weekend, it's been a mad weekend, and then I'm like, no, I can't do this food business. I can't see food. But otherwise, in general, you have to be passionate about it. You have to like it. You have to, for example, for as small as baking, you need to like working with your hands. You need to like working with flavors. You need to understand those flavors. So if you don't like it, then
it's not worth pursuing.
No, not at all worth pursuing.
I think that's fair. But also, some of the challenges I've seen is, you know, when people start small, they love it, right? It's fun. You bake like 2 cakes a day. But as your business starts growing, even from home, you know, you need to put in a lot more work. So, like, how does someone anticipate and prep for that?
So, depends again on your marketing, what what you've set out for the, you know, if you have to understand your peak season, not peak season. If you're a chocolatier, when is your chocolate selling the most? If you're a baker, which occasions you're, you know, or baking is something very very huge because you have birthdays, you have anniversaries, people are ordering.
Year-round goes on.
So if you're into a business like that, you have to have people with you. you have to have a team.
So getting some help, getting a good team
because
together.
when you're starting small, you can make those 2 cakes or you can make those 4 chocolates, but when you're beginning to expand and you're seeing business coming in, you have to start hiring the right people, for you, because doing it alone is not at all.
I think that's a great takeaway, because I think sometimes we all want to be that superwoman in our daily lives, but we also have to be realistic about it. And start thinking how best to grow, and actually lean on people and get help from them when we need it. So I think you already addressed the male-female gender ratio in the business. Let's talk about customers now, right? Like, I think in the restaurant food space, customer is king. Whether they're right or wrong does not matter. They are always right, and I think that's the mindset with which you all work. What have been some of your learnings from dealing with so many customers on a day-to-day basis? Because I think customer service is important for any business, right? I think whether we're doing client-facing work, whether we're working with each other, like, we have to look at each other as customers. So what are some, tips that you can give us?
Like you said, the customer is king. That's the mindset, that's the attitude. Also, I give my people who my team who I work with, I make them understand. So these guys are really young, they're 20, 21, 22. For them it's a little difficult. They want to, if they think they are right, they want to show the customer, no, look, I'm right. So I keep telling them on, regularly, probably I have these meetings with them, and I keep telling them that no matter what, which situation it is, customer is king, customer is first, no matter what. Whether you think they are wrong or right, you have to just make sure they are leaving the place satisfied. So no matter whether you're getting angry, you cannot show your angriness. If you're having a bad day, you cannot show them you're having a bad day, because at the end they're coming to us because they trust our brand. They are coming to us because they like our brand. So we cannot let them out disappointed.
So do you do a lot of trainings with your teams for this?
So I make sure I meet them once a month.
On
every Monday I have a time fixed with them. So I make sure I meet them every once, so that they know that basically to get them aligned with my process of my flow of thinking rather, because they should understand what kind of mindset I am at, and today I know they understand that. So for them to get that, I have these regular meetings, and they have a weekly meeting amongst themselves. They every Friday they also fix that. So they see what went wrong, what can we do, the weekend is coming up, how can we prep ourselves, should we do this, okay, this is not working, should we do that, and then they tell me, this is what we discussed, and this is what we are going to try.
And you trust your team with that now.
So team is really, really important, and I keep telling them, without y'all, yes, I can get somebody else, I'm not saying no, but I've invested time in you, I've invested training in you, I've invested patience, I've invested knowledge. So at the end, now you're my asset. I will not let go of you, provided you give your best to the company.
That makes sense. And I think that's very similar to work as well, right? Like, you need that trust from your bosses, and you need that freedom from them to actually think outside the box and to do your work really well. And at the same time, it's also the onus falls on the employees of the team to take that initiative.
Correct.
It's like a two-way street, and I guess it's not that different in the restaurant world and the work
No, it's not at all different actually. So I tell them, I just remember I had a meeting 2-3 days ago with the managers, the second in charge, So I was telling them, this is what I want. I will not tell you the way. You map your way. However you want to get there, you get. I'm not going to...
That's a huge trust that you put into your team. Especially because, the kind of people who work in the restaurant space are not... You don't always have very skilled labor. You're dealing with a lot of unskilled labor as well.
Correct. Because I get that trust from the directors, it's very justified for me to give it to them as well. Yes, they might slip up once or twice, but when I slip up, so what? Everybody makes mistakes. So I told them, this is what I want. You do how you chalk your way however you want to. I will tell you some way, but it might not be comfortable with you. So you go left, you go right, but you reach your destination, or you go right or left, you reach your destination, but you have to reach your destination. So it's up to you. And I know they got a sense of relief. I'm like, I saw it on their face. Okay, she's like giving us that hand. She's giving us that, liberty to do what we want to do. And I see the change. Like in 3 days, I actually see change.
Yeah.
So it works.
It's a funny thing, right? Like whether you're working in a corporate office, whether you're working in the restaurant or at home even, like trust is such a huge
Very
component of it.
Yeah.
So, what else do you think? I mean, I'll go back to customer service, right? It's very hard when you know the customer is wrong to actually still, have a poker face or a smiling face, actually, not even a poker face, and deal with them. What is that, mindset that you have, or what is the mindset your employees have to actually tackle that situation?
The mindset is very simple. Again, I go back to the whole, point that the customer has to leave satisfied. Now, it's okay if the customer is wrong, but I'm getting angry. It's okay to smile. It's just one customer. Yeah. But I know if I get that customer to smile, he will come back. And that's what is required. We need regular customers. Yeah. So that one customer might have gotten angry for a minute. Yeah. But in the end, here there are customers who also calm down and they're like, sorry, we overreacted, or sorry, we reacted.
Do they really do that?
Yeah.
I would love to see one of them.
No, they do.
Okay.
I should give
That's
it up.
great, actually.
So the space that I'm working in, there are not very difficult customers.
Okay.
Honestly, like yes, sometimes, but it's okay.
It happens.
And so I look at it as a sales call, a difficult sales call. While I was in the events, there were difficult meetings that I had to crack, and they were really difficult. And you're talking about money, you're talking about events, you're talking about your creativity. So I look at it as that it's one of those difficult sales calls. But I need it. I need the money. I need the customer. I need everything. It's just a different scenario. But it's the same thing. The outcome is same.
True.
Yeah. So I look at it like that, and it works for me. It's worked till like so far.
So I think like when I think about your career so far, like clearly like right now you're heavily into customer service, but also operations, right? Like a restaurant thrives on solid operations. So how do you really get your team to do that well, and what are some of the what have you all implemented to help you be seamless in your operations?
So we have I've tried to make the system automated. It with or without me, it can run, and that's how I think any business should work. Any team should work. It should not be dependent on the leader. Tomorrow, if I'm not there, it still has to work the way it's supposed to be working. So I have made checklists. I've made timely, reports. I've made different things. So they have those things.
So a lot of tools that you put in place for it.
Yeah. So
and did you take a lot of time to come up with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Initially, first 4 months, 4-5 months. Still, I understood it. Took a while. But within the first year, I had these things in place.
Okay.
So I have these tools, I have these sheets, I have everything and they know that this has to be done. And those reports are sent to me on a daily basis.
Got it. Okay.
So it's very, very streamlined that way. Everyone knows their role. Nobody is aimless. When there's a new person joining, they know what has to be done.
Got it.
So they know.
So you'll have some sort of an orientation, making sure that they're with it. Okay.
So the senior level staff talk to them, prep them, make them understand the work, and make them understand food because we have a very vast menu. So all that.
Okay. And then the other part that I would like to focus on is sales. Like clearly you've done a lot of sales in your time. Yeah, that size says it all. But what are some of your learnings when it comes to sales? And all of us ultimately we're doing sales in some form, right? Like I'm selling myself to a company when I want them to hire me, or I'm selling a product. Like what are some of your learnings that some of our community members can take from?
Sales is very interesting. I used to dread it in the beginning because it was really mind-boggling. Like it was really mad. I used to dread it because we started off cold calling. So we used to cold call 100, 200, 300 calls a day, just sitting at that one place to get those meetings. So we used to just be on the phone over and over again till you make your database, till you get your contacts, till you make contacts. When you're new, you have to start with cold calling. There's no other way in sales.
So and does that work well here?
It does.
Like it's tough clearly.
Yeah, but 7 years ago it did.
Okay.
I don't know about now, but it did work.
Okay.
It worked. From cold calls, we made big events. Like, and I'm talking about events 3,000, 4,000 people annual days.
Wow. Okay.
And those were from cold calls. Yeah. But it took time. Like you meet them once. To get that meeting from lead meeting to get the receptionist to transfer you to the concerned person.
True. Yeah, it's a task in itself.
That will take 6 calls. So you have to chat with the receptionist, and then the reception should know you're the same person going on, like calling. For him.
Familiarity is a big role.
For him or her to know, oh, this is the girl who's going on.
Do you think it's because they want to see if you're truly like invested in it, or that you really want to make this happen?
Yeah, they have to see that. They have to sense that. Sometimes if they're in a good mood, they'll just transfer you out. But sometimes when they're also having a bad day and they just have got orders not to transfer calls because they're also working on somebody's orders, they will just not transfer the call. But if I call 6 times, I know the 7th time she or he will transfer the call. So that was really challenging, very irritating.
Because it's not really getting you to the person you want. You're investing so much time in this middle person.
You don't know where it is reaching. Then we used to do sales like walk-in school meetings. We used to just walk into the company and ask for the concerned person. We used to get turned off. Why you get out from here? The security chase us from there. And we just want to meet, and they go from here, go. And we used to chase us out from the, buildings. But cold call worked, so we used to work with this.
Also tough skin because of all the right? You really have to have a lot of confidence in yourself.
And in the product also.
To know that it's all of this is worth it.
Yeah. So we used to work on this 1:10 ratio. So you make 10 calls, you'll get 1 meeting.
And that's not a bad ratio, right? For the event space.
No. We used to tell our teams as well that make 10 calls, you'll get 1 meeting. Make 20, you'll get 2.
Yeah.
But that is the ratio. That is the law of sales. This is the sales. You go for 5 meetings, maybe 1 will come close to conversion.
Got it.
Yeah, so we used to do that. Target was 4 meetings a day.
And how do you not get disappointed? Because sometimes when you hear a no, when someone says, don't call me again, very harshly, it's very easy to feel let down, disappointed, and you lose confidence in yourself or your company.
Initially, but when it started growing, it really, yes, the revenues mattered because at the end you're running a company, right? You have the director, you have to pay out salaries, rents, etc. Yes, if the targets are not met and that deal was very important and you heard a no and you thought it was going to be a yes, that time it was really very disappointing. We were what is happening? This deal was important because that was the deal that would have made the month.
Got it.
But then that month, if you're not getting that thing, that's where this is not happening, I don't think. But you'd probably feel disappointed for 2 days, but being the owner, you have no space for disappointment, so you come back and go back and try again. So there were months that were low, but honestly, very gratefully saying that there were no loss-making months. There were no months that we didn't pay out salaries. There were no months that we delayed salaries. There were no months we didn't pay rents.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I remember every month. Yes, it was a struggle. It was not easy at all, but we paid out on time because at the end, that's what is important, right?
True.
Yeah.
So coming back to the restaurant space, what are some of the trends that you're seeing right now, or what can we expect from Truffles? Anything exciting coming up?
At the moment, we are expanding, but no plans yet. But we started these cloud kitchens, if you've seen around.
Because I've seen Swiggy people basically cover your restaurant from door to door.
So that's what we've been. That's what's in the plan. That's what's in the pipeline. Other than that, there's nothing really coming up. But at the moment, we are focusing on growing within the entire space.
Any plans of going outside of Bangalore?
No, not at the moment.
Yes. So I think let's look at some questions that we have. So crisis management is probably something you must employ every day. Any tips on how to manage stress levels while managing a large team? I think this is a great question from Pooja.
Okay. The stress levels are really high in both my, my ventures that I have had, Truffles currently and, events earlier. In events, though, the stress was next level.
Yeah.
Here, at least, you can handle it a little bit. But the only thing is, what I see is your weekly offs is the time where you maximize your entire, yourself. You get back yourself together,
and you've always been able to carve out that time for yourself.
Like somehow I try it, maybe not one full day, but at least 1 hour, 2 hours, very important, like for anybody. When you're going through, when it's such a stressful job and such a stressful environment, taking out that time for like an hour or two, and just relaxing or doing nothing.
How do you de-stress? What's your method?
I just do nothing.
It's a form of meditation in itself, right? You sit with your own thoughts and yourself.
Or I can just sleep through. I can sleep a lot.
Okay.
So I just sleep through and do nothing, and it works for me. So that is very important. But when you're in the situation and when you're in a stressful situation per se, at that point you can't have your me time for sure. But that time I just step out, step out for 5 minutes, get in some fresh air, get my thoughts together, gather my thoughts, probably sip on coffee or do whatever, 5 minutes. So that
some distraction, some deviation from that.
Otherwise you're in the zone, you're in the moment and you're going like crazy. So just step out, get your space, probably go on a call with somebody you want to talk to. And just vent if it helps. So that works for me.
I've definitely been in situations where I haven't implemented that and it has not worked out well.
Sometimes it's difficult to step out. But I know when I'm going overboard, I'm losing my head, I know I have to step out. So probably I just take a phone call, take the phone and talk to my husband and see this is happening and I can rant and I know he's listening. So
Is he your go-to person when you wanna run?
Because we are in the same industry.
Okay.
So he knows how it is. So he knows.
So having someone who understands you and the work pressure that you're dealing with.
So he's been a great support system as well. So and I know at anytime I can call him and he's going to listen to me. Whether he's having a bad day as well and he's in a stressful situation as well, he can cut me off for 2 minutes, but third minute I know he's going to listen to me. So
that's good. So how do you all? both of you are in such stressful, work spaces. How do you all kind of come back together and unwind? Apart from your me time, what is, how do you all as a couple really come together?
So we also we probably sometimes take offs together. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not, because being in the same companies, being in the same workspace, it's very difficult to get offs on the same day. But the times we do, we probably just go for dinner by ourselves, or we probably sit in and watch Netflix by ourselves. We're just being with each other in comfortable silence is also okay with both of us. You don't have to chat about anything, or we don't have to really talk about anything. Or probably if we have 2-3 days, we have got a time to take a small vacation, we take a small vacation. So basically that it's no real time together, because there is no time. But this is the small ways that we come together.
Great. So we have a community full of women mainly working in the corporate space, but also a lot of people who like to have their own side hustles apart from a job. So let's say someone wants to test this food space and they want to start really small. Do you think it's possible for them to do this maybe on the weekends or bake for 2 days? Do you think it's a good idea, or any recommendations on how someone can see if they're passionate about it and then
then take it from there? If 2 days, 3 days, I don't know, because it requires a lot of time. These things, if you want to start it big, but if you're just testing the waters and testing your passion, maybe you can start probably 2 days a week, then make it 3 days a week, then make it few hours every day after your work, you're coming back.
True.
And baking or making chocolates or taking orders, You can if you're testing the waters, but if you want to make it big, if you want to make a name, if you want to go all out, then it has to be full time.
So you need that commitment. Basically.
Yeah, it has to be full time.
Okay. So any parting advice for our community here?
No, not really. Like, just be passionate about whatever you do. In any field, you need to love what you do.
Yeah.
And that's when commitment comes across. Trust will be built.
Statement.
Yeah.
Be passionate, and that's when the commitment will follow through. So I think it's a good time for us to wrap this up then. Thank you so much for making time today, Ritika.
Thanks, Spurti,
talk
for
to the
interviewing me.
Yeah, no, I was very excited about it, and I think we got a lot of little nuggets of wisdom there from your experience and your journey so far. So thank you, and we can't wait to see how much more your career expands and what we can see from Truffles in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.